The large gray ship moved quietly through space. Inside, John Miller looked out the window at the stars. He was not happy. After serving as Earth's top space diplomat for 15 years, he knew when bad news was coming. The message from the Galactic Council had been short. Come now. Important meeting. John straightened his blue uniform and checked the time. 10 minutes until they docked at the Council station. He had spent the 6-day trip from Earth thinking about what the aliens might want. This time, the Council, made up of 20 alien races, had never treated humans as equals. They always had new rules, new limits, new problems with how humans did things. Ambassador, we're about to dock, said Kate Brown, his assistant. Kate had been with John for 5 years. She knew how to read his face. You think it's bad? Has the Council ever called an emergency meeting to give us good news? John asked. He picked up his datapad and looked at the notes from their last meeting 3 months ago. The Council had cut human trade routes by 20%, claiming security reasons. Before that, they had limited the number of new ships Earth could build. The ship slowed as it entered the huge space station. The Council station was bigger than any human city, a massive wheel spinning in space. Made of shining metal and crystal, it showed off the advanced technology of the older alien races. John had once found it beautiful. Now he just saw it as a sign of how the aliens looked down on humans. Remember, John said to Kate and the 3 other team members, stay calm no matter what they say. We need to hear them out first. The ship docked with a soft bump. John led his team out into the station. 2 tall aliens with blue skin waited for them. The Veldar were one of the oldest races in the Council, and often took the lead. Ambassador Miller, said the taller Veldar, the Council is waiting. Follow us. No welcome, no small talk. That was a bad sign. John and his team followed the Veldar through wide hallways. Other aliens moved past them, some giving them cold looks. Humans were the newest race in the Council, allowed to join only 30 years ago. Many of the older races still saw them as wild and dangerous. They entered the Great Council chamber. It was a huge round room with seats rising up like in a sports arena. The 20 Council races sat in their special areas. In the middle was a single platform where speakers stood. John was led to this platform while his team sat in small seats near the bottom of the room. The head counselor, a large Veldar named Zex, stood up. His voice boomed through the room. Ambassador John Miller of Earth. The Council has made an important choice about the human problem. We have watched your kind for 30 years now. We have seen how you keep pushing against our rules. We have seen how you build weapons when we ask for peace. We have seen how you explore space we told you not to enter. John felt his face get hot, but he kept his expression calm. The human problem again, always talking about humans like they were children or animals, not a race that had built their own ships and reached the stars on their own. Zex continued. Last month, human ships fired on a Drax science vessel near your colony on Mars. You claimed they were too close to your world, but space is for all races to study and explore. The Drax ship was scanning our defense systems, John said. We asked them 3 times to move back. They ignored us. We fired a warning shot only. No one was hurt. Silence, said a small green alien with 4 arms. This was Plick of the Mento race. Humans always have excuses, always think they know better than races that have traveled space for thousands of years. John bit his tongue. The Mento had joined the Council only 50 years before humans. They were hardly ancient space travelers. Zex held up a large blue hand. The Council has decided. Humans are too wild, too quick to use force. From today, all human warships must be turned over to Council control. All human colonies must accept Council governors who will watch over them. Earth itself must allow Council inspectors full access to all areas. John couldn't believe what he was hearing. You want us to give up our ships? Let aliens rule our colonies? Open Earth to your inspectors who can go anywhere? That's not reasonable. No free race would accept that. You will accept it, said Zex, or face the consequences. The Council has reached its limit with humans. We gave you a place among us, and you have caused nothing but trouble. You have 30 Earth days to agree to these terms. A tall, thin alien with gray skin stood up. This was Vril of the Corn race, one of the few who sometimes took humanity's side. Perhaps we should discuss this more. Humans have also brought new ideas, new ways of solving problems. The decision is made, Zek said firmly. 30 days, Ambassador Miller. Then we will take action if humans have not agreed. John looked around the chamber. Most of the alien representatives wouldn't meet his eyes. Some looked uncomfortable, but none spoke up to support Vril's suggestion. I will take your demands back to Earth, John said. His voice was steady but cold. But I must warn this council that Earth will not give up its freedom. We joined as equals, not as servants. You joined as juniors, Plick said with a harsh laugh. Now you will learn your proper place. John turned and walked back to his team without being dismissed. He could hear the angry voices behind him, but he didn't care. He had to get back to Earth right away. The council had finally gone, too far. As they hurried back to their ship, Kate spoke quietly. What will Earth do? John's face was grim. Something the council doesn't expect. They think we'll either roll over or fight stupidly and lose, but they've never really understood humans, and that's their biggest mistake. The ship's engines fired, up as soon as they were aboard. As the council station grew smaller behind them, John began typing a message to Earth's leaders. The heading was simple. The council has pushed too far. Time for Plan Omega. The message from Ambassador John Miller reached Earth in 6 hours. Earth's leaders gathered in the big meeting room under the city of New York. 50 men and women sat around a long table. Some wore military uniforms, others wore normal clothes. All looked worried. President Laura Harris stood at the head of the table. She was tall, with short gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. On the wall behind her, a large screen showed John Miller's face. So they want our ships, control of our colonies, and free access to Earth itself, President Harris said after John finished his report. And we have 30 days to agree. Yes, Madam President, John said. His face on the screen looked tired. The council will not back down. They have been planning this for a long time. They think we are too wild, too dangerous to have our own power in space. What they really think, said General Paul Davis, is that we're too quick to catch up to them. 30 years ago, we joined the council as beginners in space travel. Now, our ships are almost as good as theirs. They're scared of us. Paul was the head of Earth's space forces. He wore a dark green uniform with 3 stars on each shoulder. His face was lined from years under different suns. Can we fight them? Asked Mary Chen, the head of Earth's science team. How many ships do they have? Over 1,000 warships, John said. We have 200. We would lose badly. The room was quiet as everyone thought about this. Earth had worked hard to build those 200 ships, but the council races had been in space much longer and had many more. What about Plan Omega? President Harris asked. Is it ready? Mary Chen nodded. Yes. We've been working on it in secret for 10 years. The council has no idea what we've built. They think their monitoring stations can see everything we do, but we've found a way around them. Explain it again for everyone, the president said. Mary stood up and touched a button on the table. A 3D image appeared in the middle of the room. It showed Earth and the space around it. 10 years ago, we discovered something the council either doesn't know about or has hidden from younger races, Mary said. There's another layer to space-time that their sensors can't see. We call it the fold. Our scientists found a way to move objects partly into the fold. They still exist in normal space but can't be seen or detected by regular methods. And you're sure it works? General Davis asked. We've tested it on small ships, then bigger ones. We've had a whole colony on Mars using fold tech for 2 years. The Council's monitoring station in orbit around Mars hasn't noticed anything strange. President Harris looked around the table. Plan Omega means moving all of humanity partly into the fold. Our cities, our colonies, our ships, everything. We would still be here, but invisible to Council technology. They couldn't attack what they can't find. What about trade? Asked a woman with long red hair. This was Susan Lee, the head of Earth's economy. If we disappear, we lose all trade with other worlds. We've stored enough supplies for 2 years, Mary said. And we can still mine resources from uninhabited systems. The fold doesn't stop us from moving or working, it just hides us. And weapons? General Davis asked. Can we still fight from inside this fold? Mary nodded. That's the best part. We can see out, but they can't see in. We can come partly out of the fold just long enough to fire, then slip back. Our new Helix weapons will work even better from the fold. John Miller spoke up from the screen. The Council is already moving ships to our border. They're getting ready in case we say no to their demands. President Harris walked slowly around the table. Her face was serious. This is the biggest decision in human history. If we use Plan Omega, we're stepping away from the galactic community. We'll be on our own. We're already on our own, General Davis said. The Council has never treated us as real partners. They've held us back at every turn. I agree, said Mary. They fear us because we learn and adapt faster than they do. They want to control us before we grow too strong. President Harris stopped walking and stood straight. I need a vote from Earth's full government. All those in favor of activating Plan Omega, raise your hands. One by one, hands went up around the table. In the end, all 50 leaders had their hands raised. The vote is clear, President Harris said. John, return to Earth at once. Mary, begin the fold process. General Davis, put our ships on high alert. We need every human ship, station, and colony ready to shift into the fold at the same moment. What about the Council? John asked. Do we tell them our answer now or wait 30 days? President Harris's eyes were hard. We don't answer at all. In 5 days, when you're safely back, we activate Plan Omega. The Council pushed too far, and now they'll learn that humans don't negotiate when threatened. On the screen, John nodded. I'll leave at once. The Council will try to stop me, I think. Then use the fold device we installed on your ship last month, Mary said. It's ready. Just press the red button under your captain's chair. You'll vanish from their sensors. After the meeting ended, President Harris stood looking out a window at the night sky. The stars seemed cold and distant. Soon humanity would take a path no one had taken before. They would step sideways out of the normal universe, becoming ghosts that could still act in the real world. They should have left us alone, she said quietly to the stars. They should have treated us as equals. Now they'll learn why humans are not good enemies to have. Behind her, Mary Chen and General Davis entered the room. The first stage is already working, Mary said. We've moved 3 lunar bases into the fold as a test. The Council's monitoring station on the moon hasn't noticed anything. And our new weapons, the President asked. The Helix cannon works perfectly from inside the fold, General Davis said. One shot can take apart a ship at the molecular level. The Council has nothing like it. President Harris nodded. Then we're ready. In 5 days, humanity disappears. And then we decide how to respond to the Council's threats from a position they can't even see. 5 days passed quickly. John Miller's ship returned to Earth safely. He had used the fold device when 3 Council ships tried to stop him. One moment his ship was there on their screens. The next it was gone. The Council ships searched for hours but found nothing. Now the big day had come. In the control room deep under New York, President Harris stood with her top team. Mary Chen sat at the main computer, her fingers moving over the controls. General Davis watched the big screen, showing Earth and all human ships and stations in space. All systems are ready, Mary said. Every human settlement from Earth to our farthest colony has the fold device installed and active. We can move everything at once. Any word from the Council? President Harris asked John Miller, who stood beside her. They've sent 3 messages, asking for our answer to their demands, John said. The last one was angry. They say if we don't respond in 24 hours, they'll take it as a no. Good, said the President. Let them think we're still deciding. The surprise will be bigger. On the big screen, small dots of light showed Council ships moving. More and more were gathering near Earth and the human colonies. They're getting ready to attack, General Davis said. I count over 200 Council ships now at our borders. They're not waiting for the 30 days to end. Then we don't wait either, President Harris said firmly. Mary, start Plan Omega now. Mary took a deep breath and pressed her hand on a glowing panel. A voice from the computer asked, "Confirm identity for Plan Omega activation. Mary Chen, Science Director, Earth United. I confirm Plan Omega activation." The screen changed color. A countdown appeared. 10, 9, 8. All stations and colonies report ready. A young officer called from his seat near the wall. All ships in position. The countdown reached 0. Mary pressed a final button. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the dots on the screen showing council ships changed from blue to red. "What's that mean?" John asked. "It worked," Mary said, her voice excited. "The red color means we're seeing them from inside the fold. We've shifted. All of humanity is now partially in the fold dimension." President Harris closed her eyes for a second. When she opened them, she looked different, stronger, more sure. "Status report?" she asked. "All systems working properly," Mary said. "The shift was clean. Earth, our moon bases, Mars colony, Jupiter stations, and all 17 outer colonies report success. Our 200 ships are all safely in the fold." The room was quiet as everyone took in what had just happened. Humanity had just done something no other race in the galaxy had ever done. They had stepped sideways out of normal space, becoming invisible to standard technology while still being physically present. "The council ships are changing formation," General Davis noted, pointing at the screen. "They're spreading out, probably, trying to find us." On the screen, they could see the council ships moving in confusion. Some were scanning Earth, others were heading to the Moon and Mars. They could see humans and human buildings, but all human technology had vanished from their sensors. "Send the message to all Earth forces," President Harris said. "No one responds to any council communication. No one comes out of the fold without direct orders." A new alert sounded. On the screen, a very large ship appeared near Earth's orbit. "That's the council flagship," John said, his voice tense. "Zex himself must be on board." The huge ship moved slowly around Earth. It sent signals down to the planet, but no one answered. From inside the fold, humans could hear and see everything. The council did, but the council couldn't detect any human technology. "They're scanning for energy readings," Mary explained as they watched. "But the fold hides all our power sources. To their sensors, it looks like we've gone back to the Stone Age. They can see our cities and buildings, but no power. No computers, no ships." "What will they think happened?" John asked. "They'll be confused," General Davis said with a small smile. "They might think we destroyed all our technology rather than give it to them, or that some weapon or virus knocked out all our systems." On the screen, more council ships arrived. They surrounded Earth, the Moon, and Mars. Smaller ships landed in several places on Earth. "They're sending ground teams," Mary said, checking her readings. "Council aliens are walking around New York, London, Beijing, and other major cities right now." "Can they see our people?" President Harris asked. "Yes, but our people have been told to act confused, like they don't know what happened to the technology. The aliens will see humans walking around living in buildings but with no working machines." President Harris walked to the window of the control room. It looked out on a rock wall since they were deep underground, but screens made it look like she was seeing the sky. "Now we wait," she said. "Let the council search and find nothing. Let them wonder what happened. In 2 days, we move to step 2 of the plan." "The demonstration," General Davis said, nodding. "Yes. They need to see what we can do from inside the fold, just enough to make them realize they've made a terrible mistake." For the next day, they watched as council ships and ground teams searched everywhere for working human technology. The aliens looked through empty buildings where humans had removed everything important. They scanned the oceans and forests. They even dug into the ground looking for hidden bases. But they found nothing. All human technology was now partly in the fold, invisible to their sensors. On the second day, President Harris called a new meeting. "It's time for the demonstration," she said. "General Davis, select your target." General Davis pointed to a spot on the screen. It showed a large council space station near Mars. The station had been placed there 5 years ago to watch human ships. "That station has 20 council members on it," he said. "No one will be hurt. They have escape pods, but it's a good target to show our power." President Harris nodded. Mary, make sure our recording systems catch everything. We want the council to see exactly what happens. Mary worked at her computer. Ready, she said. General Davis, you may proceed. General Davis spoke into his communicator. This is General Davis to the Earth Defense Ship Guardian. You are cleared to fire 1 helix cannon shot at the Mars monitoring station. Bring your ship partly out of the fold just long enough to fire, then return fully to the fold. From the screen they watched as something amazing happened. A human ship appeared suddenly near Mars, coming partly out of the fold. It fired a beam of blue light at the council station. The station didn't explode. Instead, it simply came apart, breaking down into smaller and smaller pieces until it was just a cloud of dust. The whole thing took less than 10 seconds. Then the human ship vanished again, slipping back into the fold. On the screen, they could see council ships racing toward where the station had been. The ships scanned the dust cloud and the area where the human ship had appeared, but they found nothing. Message prepared, Mary said. Ready to send to all council ships. President Harris took a deep breath. Send it. A simple message went out, on all frequencies the council used. You pushed too far. Now humanity declines to negotiate. We have moved beyond your reach, but we can still reach you, remember that. The council ships near Earth went into high alert after the message. They moved in tight groups, weapons ready, but they had no target to shoot at. The human ships were hidden in the fold, impossible to detect with council technology. On the council main ship, head councilor Zex called an emergency meeting. Representatives from all 20 council races joined through video links. Their faces showed fear and anger. What just happened? Demanded Plick of the Mento race. How did the humans destroy our station like that, and where have they gone? Zex's blue scales were pale with worry. Our scientists are studying what little data we have. The human ship appeared from nowhere, fired some kind of new weapon and vanished again. The weapon didn't explode our station. It broke apart the very bonds holding its materials together. Impossible, said another alien, this one with 6 eyes and green skin. No race has such technology. It must be a trick. The evidence is clear, said Vril of the Quarn race. Humans have developed something we don't understand. Something that lets them hide from our sensors and weapons that can take apart matter itself. We should have listened to you before, Vril, Zex admitted. You warned us not to push humans. Too hard. Now they have revealed powers we didn't know they had. The alien leaders argued for hours. Some wanted to keep searching for human technology. Others thought they should leave Earth alone now. A few even suggested using planet-destroying bombs on Earth. But Zex refused that option. We do not know if such an attack would work against this fold technology, he said. And if it failed, the humans might respond by destroying our homeworlds. Finally, they agreed to send a message back to the humans. It took them a long time to write it. They were not used to asking nicely for anything. The message went out on all channels. To the leaders of Earth, we have received your demonstration. We request a meeting to discuss new terms. Please respond. In the control room under New York, President Harris and her team watched the council's confusion with grim satisfaction. They're scared, General Davis said, watching the council ships on the screen. Look how they're staying in tight groups, afraid to separate. And they should be, Mary Chen added. They have no defense against our helix weapons, and they can't see us coming. They've sent a reply, John Miller noted as the council's message came in. They want to talk. That's a big change from giving orders. President Harris thought for a long time. We let them wait, she said finally. 3 days of silence. Let them worry about what we might do next. Let their fear grow. For 3 days the humans watched and waited. Council ships continued to search Earth and the colonies, but with less confidence now. Some ships left, heading back to their home systems. The council leaders sent 2 more messages asking for talks. Humans sent no reply. On the 4th day, President Harris called her team together. It's time to respond, she said, but not in a way they expect. Mary, is the special ship ready? Mary nodded. Yes. The Spirit of Earth is our newest ship, built entirely with fold technology. It can move in and out of the fold easier than any other ship we have. And the package? Ready. The data crystal contains everything they need to know about us now, about what we can do, and what we want. President Harris looked at John Miller. John, you've dealt with the council for years. Are you ready for one more meeting? John straightened his shoulders. Yes, Madam President. This time I'll be speaking from strength, not as a beggar at their table. Good. Then Operation Ghost begins now. On the main council ship, Zex was meeting with his closest advisors when the alarm sounded. What is it? He demanded. A human ship, said a young Veldar working at a control panel. It just appeared 50 meters from us. On the screen, a sleek silver ship hung in space near the council ship. It was unlike any human ship they had seen before. It had no visible engines or weapons. It simply floated there, gleaming in the starlight. They could destroy us right now, whispered one of the advisors. Just like they did the station. They haven't fired, Zex noted. Scan it. Our scans show nothing, sir, said the young Veldar. It's like the ship isn't really there, but we can see it with our eyes. A message came from the human ship. This is Ambassador John Miller of Earth. I am here to deliver a message to the council. I request permission to come aboard with one assistant. Zex hesitated, then nodded. Allow them to dock, but double the guards in the docking bay. 20 minutes later, John Miller walked into the council ship's main meeting room. Behind him came Kate Brown, carrying a small silver box. Both humans wore simple black uniforms with a small Earth symbol on the shoulder. No weapons were visible. Zex and 5 other council members waited for them. Guards stood at every door. Ambassador Miller, Zex said, trying to sound calm. We are pleased you have responded to our request for talks. I am not here to talk, John said flatly. I am here to deliver Earth's message. He nodded to Kate, who stepped forward and placed the silver box on the table. It opened by itself, revealing a glowing crystal inside. This data crystal contains information about humanity's new status, John said. About the fold technology that now hides us from your sensors. About the helix weapons that can take apart matter at the molecular level. And about our terms for future relations with the council. Terms? Zex repeated, his voice showing surprise. You would rejoin the council? No, John said firmly. Earth and all human colonies are now independent. We withdraw completely from the Galactic Council. The crystal explains the borders we now claim and the rules for any council ships that wish to enter our space. You can't just leave the council, protested one of the aliens. We already have, John replied. Your threats forced us to develop technologies you never imagined. Now we exist partly in the fold where you cannot detect or attack us, but we can still affect normal space when we choose. Zex stared at the crystal. And if we refuse your terms? John's face was hard. Then we will remain in the fold, but we will not remain quiet. Your ships will disappear. Your stations will fall apart. You pushed us into this position, Counselor Zex. Now you must live with the results. Without waiting for a response, John turned and walked toward the door. Kate followed him. The crystal contains communication codes you can use to contact us if you accept our terms, John said over his shoulder. You have 5 days to decide. As the humans left the room, Zex picked up the crystal with shaking hands. They were always different, he said quietly. From the first day humans joined the council, they asked questions no other race asked. They pushed boundaries no other race dared to push. And now they have broken free completely, said another counselor. What do? We read what's on this crystal, Zex replied. And then we accept their terms, because the alternative is something I do not wish to consider. 5 days passed. On Earth, life continued in the strange new normal. People went to work and school, but everything was partly in the fold. Council ships still orbited Earth, but kept their distance now. They no longer sent teams to the surface. In Q, the control room under New York, President Harris and her team waited for the council's answer. General Davis watched the screens showing council ships. Mary Chen worked with her team to improve the fold technology even further. They're taking the full 5 days, John Miller noted. That means they're arguing among themselves. Good, said General Davis. Let them argue. The more they fight each other, the better for us. At exactly the 5-day mark, a message arrived from the council ship. President Harris nodded to John. Play it. The large screen showed Zex's blue face. He looked tired. To the leaders of Earth, the council has reviewed your terms. We accept them. We recognize Earth and all human colonies as independent. We agree to the borders you have claimed. We agree not to attempt to develop weapons against your fold technology. John smiled slightly. They had no choice. They know we could destroy their ships one by one if they refused. Zex continued. We request regular trade be established again. Many worlds depended on goods from Earth. We are willing to pay higher prices than before. Of course they are, Susan Lee said with a laugh. They need our food, our medicines, our art. But we don't need much from them anymore. And finally, Zex said, his voice lower, the Council formally apologizes for its actions toward humanity. We misjudged your species. We thought your questions and your quick progress were signs of danger. We did not understand that they were signs of your special nature. The message ended. The room was quiet for a long moment. So we won, General Davis said. Complete victory. President Harris shook her head. Not yet. Now comes the hard part. Mary, is everything ready for the meeting? Mary nodded. Yes. The neutral site is prepared. It's a small planet in empty space halfway between Earth and the Council Center. Both sides can reach it in 2 days. Good. John, you'll lead our team again. Take Kate and 5 others. Make sure the Council understands our position fully. 2 days later, John's ship arrived at the meeting planet. It was a small world with no people, just rocks and a thin atmosphere. On a flat plain, humans had built a simple meeting place, a bouzaire, large round table under a clear dome. John and his team waited at the table. They could see a council ship landing nearby. 6 aliens walked toward the dome. 2 blue Veldars, including Zex, 1 green Mento, 1 gray Quarn, and 2 others from smaller council races. The aliens entered the dome and sat across from the humans. Zex looked at John with his large eyes. Ambassador Miller, we have accepted your terms. Earth is free from council control. Why did you request this meeting? John leaned forward. Because we need to be clear about the future. Humanity has changed. We have the fold now. We can hide our worlds, our ships, our technology from your sensors. We can strike from nowhere, if we are threatened. We understand this, Zex said. You have become too powerful to control. That's not the point, John said firmly. The point is that you never should have tried to control us in the first place. No race should control another. The council was supposed to be a place where different peoples worked together, not where older races ruled younger ones. Vril, the gray Quarn who had sometimes supported humans before, spoke up. You are right, Ambassador Miller. The council lost its way. We became rulers, not partners. John nodded. That's why we're here today. To offer a choice. He placed a small device on the table. It projected a picture of the galaxy with different colored areas, showing the territories of various races. Humanity will remain independent, John said. We will stay partly in the fold. But we are willing to create a new organization to replace the council. One where all races are truly equal. Where no race can force rules on another. Where we share knowledge and help each other grow. Zex seemed surprised. You would work with us again, after what we did? We are offering a chance to build something better, John said. Not because we need it, but because the galaxy will be better if we cooperate rather than fight. Look at what humanity achieved when you pushed us too far. Imagine what all races might achieve if we worked together as real partners. The aliens looked at each other. Vril spoke first. The Quarn would support such a new organization. The Mento would need to know more details, said Plick, still suspicious. Zex was quiet for a long time. Then he said, For 1,000 years the Council has ruled space, but perhaps Perhaps that time is ending. Perhaps it should end. It already has ended, John said simply. The question is what comes next? War or cooperation? Humanity has the power to destroy the Council completely now. We choose not to use that power. We choose to offer a new beginning instead. He stood up. You have the plans for the new organization and the data we provided. Take them back to your worlds. Discuss them with your leaders. In 30 days we will meet again. Those who wish to join the new Galactic Alliance. And those who don't wish to join? Asked one of the smaller aliens. Will be left alone as long as they leave others alone, John said. Freedom means the freedom to say no, but those who join will share knowledge, resources, and protection. As the meeting ended, Zex approached John privately. You could have destroyed us, why didn't you? John looked at the alien who had once treated humans like children. Because that's not who we are. Humans don't want to rule the galaxy. We just don't want anyone ruling us. I think I finally understand your species, Zex said slowly. You are not dangerous because you are violent. You are dangerous because you are free. Your minds have no limits. All minds should be free, John replied. That's what the new alliance will protect, the freedom of all beings to grow, to learn, to become what they choose to be. 1 month later, ships from 15 races arrived at Earth. They came to sign the charter of the new Galactic Alliance. Humanity had stepped out of the fold just enough to welcome their new partners. On the signing platform, President Harris looked out at the alien representatives. The Council pushed humanity too far, she said, and we declined to negotiate under threat. But now, as equals, we are ready to build a new future together. A future based on freedom, respect, and the amazing things we can all achieve when no one holds us back. Behind her, the sun set over a Earth that had changed the galaxy forever.